Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about section 3.6, which is negating the conditional and also talking about something called DeMorgan's Law. Okay, so first we're going to talk about negating the conditional statement. Okay, so remember our conditional statement is P implies Q. So its negation becomes P and not Q. All right, or the way we can talk about it is the negation of our conditional statement is equivalent to P and not Q. So let's take a look at our first example here. Suppose we have our statement, if you do not have a fever, you do not have the flu. So that's our if-then conditional. So if we write our simple statements, we can let P be, you do have a fever, and Q be, you do have the flu. Typically, your simple statements are not the negation portion of it. So our conditional statement that represents this right here is not P implies not Q. Okay, so how do we negate this? We keep the antecedent, we change it to an and we negate the consequent. So we keep the not P, that arrow becomes the and we negate the second portion. So not Q. So in the end, we get our not P and Q. So if we were to convert this back to our English statement, it would simply be, you do not have a fever and you have the flu. Just a reminder in this table at the bottom, if we have our conditional statement P implies Q and we're talking about the converse, P implies Q is not equivalent to Q implies P. That's our converse, okay? Or our inverse. P implies Q is not equivalent to not P implies not Q, all right? But our negation of the conditional, all right, the negation of P implies Q is P and not Q. Now we're going to move on to DeMorgan's Law. DeMorgan's Law deals with conjunction and disjunction statements, and what we're going to do is we are going to negate those. So there's two different forms. We're going to negate a conjunction, that's our and. So negating a conjunction, we negate the P, we change the and to an or, and we negate the Q. So we negate both parts, and we switch the and to an or. Similarly, if we're negating a disjunction, an or statement, okay, we negate the P, we change the and to the or, and we negate the Q. So we negate both parts, and we change the or to an and. So let's take a look. If we're looking at this first statement here, it is not true that they will be judged by the color of their skin or not by the content of their character. So if we break it up into simple statements, let's let P be, my children will be judged by the color of their skin, and we'll let Q be, my children will be judged by the content of their character. Okay, so this statement above, is it a form 1? Is it a conjunction that we're negating? Or is it a form 2? Is it a disjunction? Well, remember, we see the word or in there, so that tells us it's form 2. It's a disjunction. So by negating the disjunction, all right, we negate the first part, we change the or to an and we negate that second part. So when we clean that up, it becomes not P and Q. So what's this going to look like if we change it back to words? We're going to have, my children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but, you could say but instead of and, by the content of their character. Let's take a look at these next examples, okay? And we will negate them. So, all students do laundry on weekends, and I do not. So this is a conjunction statement. I see the and. So now in order to negate the conjunction, we negate the first part, we change the and to an or, and we negate the second part. Now what we should notice is this first part is a quantified statement. All students do laundry on weekends. So we must use the negations of the quantified statements. So remind yourself of this table up here, okay? So if I have all A or are B, my negation is going to be some A are not B. So that's our blue statement down here. So negating this first part, all students do laundry on weekends. That's a quantified statement. We get some students do not do laundry on weekends. Now we change this and to an or, and we negate this portion. I do not. That negated becomes I do. If we take a look at this second example here, some college professors are entertaining lecturers, or I'm bored. So we should recognize this is a disjunction, and we kind of split our statement up into two pieces, before the or and after the or. So we have to negate this first part. So using that quantified statement category, some college professors are entertaining lecturers. That's some A are B. So then its negation is no A are B. Okay? So again, to negate with symbols, we negate the first portion, we change the or to an and we negate the last portion of I'm bored. So what does this look like with words? No college professors are entertaining lecturers, and I'm not bored. The last example is going to look at and use DeMorgan's Law to formulate a contrapositive. So remind yourself what a contrapositive statement is. So first, let's look at this statement. If it rains, I do not go outdoors and I study. So we want to write a statement that's equivalent to that. So remember, our contrapositive is equivalent to the conditional. So let's break up in terms of P, Q, and R. So let's let P be, it rains. Let's let Q be, I go outdoors. And R, I study. So if we were to write our statement, all right, in symbolic form, we would get P implies, and make sure you use parentheses around not Q and R, okay? Because this is the most dominant connective, that conditional statement. So now if we go over and we write the contrapositive to this, remember the contrapositive is where we switch the antecedent and the last part, right? And then we negate both pieces. So we switch and negate. So this portion gets put in the front and we negate it, implies not P. So now we just clean things up, okay? So when we're negating a conjunction, that's what this is right here, we negate each part, we change that and to an or, we negate the last part, okay? So when we negate, not Q becomes Q, or not R. Remember to keep the parentheses around that antecedent, okay? Implies not P. So here is our contrapositive of our conditional statement, okay? So what does this look like in English? If I go outdoors or I don't study, then it does not rain. If you have questions, bring it to class next time we see each other. Have a good day.